What is the process of testing for drugs in sport?
What generally happens is that your rugby club give the itinerary to the drug testers, and the drug testers can turn up at any time. So they'll turn up and they'll pick some names out of the hat, and then if your name comes out of the hat, you have to be drug tested. Right. But it is said to be completely random unless there's some suspicious activity with certain individuals.
How do you feel about the process?
Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's a fair process. I mean, they could do other testing like blood testing as well. I mean, at the moment in time, just do urine samples, the majority of the time anyway. But I think if they wanted to take it that step further, an area for development would be to introduce some more tests, such as blood tests.
How many times have you been tested?
This season, I've been tested just once, but throughout my career, I've been tested around 10 times.
How does the process affect your everyday life?
I mean, you've got to pay more attention to what medication you take. You can't just take any medication. I mean, some everyday medications such as some Vicks inhalers, Lemsip, they're all on the banned substance list, so you've got to be careful with what you take. So yeah, it's just paying that extra attention to the ingredients in your medication.
Where do you as a player find information on legal and illegal substances?
We have some talks, we have some seminars, so people from the RFL come down, which is the governing body for my sport. They come down, they do some seminars with us highlighting any changes, highlighting the main types of ingredients we need to avoid. And there's also an app that you can download, it's called Global Draw. And what you do is you just put in the ingredients of your medication, and then that'll come up with any banned substances.
Do you feel as though the process is fair?
Yeah, I do. I do think it's fair. I mean, like I said, I think they could develop it further. They could do some blood tests, but I know that is expensive, and the RFL are limited on funds. But those blood tests are taken against people who are in Super League, so maybe it should be a level playing field for all.
Have you ever been tempted of the thought to take drugs?
No, not at all.
And do you trust yourself?
Yeah, I trust myself, 100% trust myself. I'm not sure if I trust all the opposition, but I definitely trust myself.
What is the process for players being tested for drugs?
Well, with the RFL sort of put some systems in place, and so there's random drug testing throughout the off-season and in-season competition.
Okay. And how often do players get tested?
Because it's completely random, players can go even several seasons without being tested, because they try and they'll just turn up to training, say, or even on match day, and then there'll be a random blind draw, unless they've been highlighted that there's a certain individual that needs to be tested. And so the RFL obviously try and get evidence from wherever they can do, but if they're actually being reported or there's rumours or heavy rumours, evidence of someone taking something that they shouldn't do, they'll be already picked before the random test is done. And so most of the testing is done completely random, but if there is evidence to suggest that someone is potentially taking something they shouldn't do, they will also be tested.
How do you feel about the process?
I think it's great. Everyone should be on a level playing field. It should be a clean sport, and so the more testing that's done, the better, really, to sort of hopefully try and eradicate it in the sport.
Okay. Do you trust your players?
Yes. The big thing is because it's my reputation as well, and so I have to have confidence in the players that they're listening to the messages that I'm giving them. They're sort of confident in sort of anything that they're consuming, whether that be sort of dietary wise or supplement wise. And my job is to give them as much education as I can, so then they make the right choices with what they're putting in their bodies. So although it's the 100% me, which is that their responsibility. They will get the ban. They will be banned from the sport. It's also the reputation of the club, the reputation of myself, the reputation of the coach, that we don't have players that take banned substances.
Okay, and who's usually responsible for what the players take? Would that be the coach?
That's partly me, but again, it's 100% me. So we don't force supplements sort of on the players. It's their choice to sort of take the supplements. What I've done is sort of researched several companies, and I found one that tests every single product, which is called batch testing. And so they'll take a sample of every sort of product they make in bulk, and they'll test it to see if it's got any foreign bodies in or anything that could potentially fail a test. And so that works along with the guidelines of WADA, and sort of works with sort of informed sport as well, to make sure that there's no way any products other than what they're putting in, which is 100% fine to take, is in that product, so there's no contamination. And so I've sort of researched this company, sort of brought them in, managed to get a deal in which we provide the players supplements at our training and the option to buy some online or through myself, and so they can have some products at home.
Okay, that's all the questions we've got for now, actually.
No problem.
Thank you.
Thank you.